right. So now we're doing exercise 5-21. You're going to have a problem similar to this to do on the exam. This is where we're going to combine doing the present value of one and the present value of an annuity, all in the same calculation. Okay. When I'm doing problems like this, I like to get a little bit of information. So I'm going to expand this really quick so I can see everything. So they tell us on September the 30th, 2027, Techno Corporation issued 8% stated rate bonds. Okay, so I'm going to just come down here and write my stated rate down as 8%. Okay, with a face value of 300 million. Okay, face value, that is the same as your future value. Okay, there's a lot of zeros here. Okay. Then they said the bonds mature in 20 years. So we're going to have this bonds are going to be out for 20 years. Okay. The market rate of interest for similar bonds is 10%. Okay. So we know right off the bat, our market rate is higher than our stated rate. This is going to be a bond issued at a discount. Okay. If it was opposite, it'd be premium. Okay. And so that's the market rate is 10%, and interest is paid semi-annual interest. Okay. So now I'm going to pull my calculator back up again. There we go. Okay. It can be a little tricky on putting this one in because we're going to do both of the calculations all in one. Okay. So let's talk about how many periods we got here. Okay. We're not going to put 20 because we don't really have 20 periods. We have 20 years. We're going to take the 20, multiply it times 2. We're actually going to have 40 periods. Now, you can actually do that calculation right in that time value of money function. So we can take 20 multiplied times 2, enter. There we go. We've got our 40. So if it's a number you can't do the math in your head, there you go. Okay. Our interest rate that we're going to put in right here, that interest rate will be the market rate of interest. Okay. So market rate of interest is 10. Whoops. But remember we multiplied times 2. We're going to divide that 10 by 2. Okay. So we're going to divide that one by 2. Okay. So whatever you multiply the n by, you will divide the interest rate by. So we multiplied by 2 to get the number of periods. We cut the interest in half because it's really 5% interest over 40 periods. Okay. We are wanting to calculate the present value, so we're going to put a 0 there. Okay. What's our payment going to be? Every single interest payment that is paid every 6 months will be the 300 million multiplied times the stated rate, and then that will be cut in half. So I'm going to multiply times 1/2. Okay. So I could do all of that in that calculation for payment. So we could do, let's see, 300 million multiplied times 0.08. We did have to do the 0.08 there when we're doing that calculation. I did not put enough zeros in there. Multiplied times 0.08. There we got 2,400,000. Okay, let's jump back up there. I guess it won't. There we go. We're going to jump back up there because that's for a whole year. Okay, so then we're going to divide that by 2 to get an interest payment of 1.2 million every 6 months. Okay, you could have done that elsewhere, but I just wanted you to know for efficiency when you're taking your test, you could just put it all in there. Okay, so that's our payment. Our future value is the face. Okay. Okay. I know there's a 0 in front of that. It'll go away. It's all right. Okay. So just to clarify, we're using the 10% to calculate the present value. The only thing we're using the stated rate for is to calculate that interest payment. Remember, that is a legal instrument. That bond certificate is a legal instrument. It says we're paying 8% every 6 months. We have to pay 8% every 6 months or 4% every 6 months. Okay. We can't just adjust the interest payment. That's why we have this issue with valuing bonds. Okay. So now I hope that this works. I did work it earlier before I started recording. So now we're going to do alpha enter, and we're going to get a number that is not correct. I don't know what I did wrong here, but I know that's not the correct answer because I worked it earlier and did not get that number. So let's jump back up here. I got something really close. All right, y'all are probably screaming through the video. Miss Solano, you did not do that right. I did not. Instead of getting 1.2 million, I should have gotten 12 million. So you see how much difference a zero can make in your calculation. I left a zero off there and it was not right. Okay. So I'm going to come down here. I'm just going to put that in. Then we'll come back up here and do alpha enter, and boom, we got our answer. This bond, we knew it was going to be less than 300,000, okay, because it was issued at a discount. So this bond will have an issue price of 2,048,527.41. Okay. Now I'm going to jump down here and show you what the solution got. It's way off. Okay. It's way off because look right here. They were limited to 5 decimal places. That about 5 decimal places out is where it started going wrong. Okay. Because it's just assuming 0 behind that, but it's really not. There's really more decimal places that go out. So you get a better number by putting it in the calculator than using the tables. That's why I love this calculator so much more than the tables. Now, when you're taking the CPA exam, you'll probably have to use the tables. So understand how to use the tables. They just probably won't be giving you numbers this big, because in that previous problem, it didn't go out very many decimal places and we were hitting it right on the money exactly every time. But it has to do with how many decimal places. This one had a lot of zeros. When you get one with a lot of zeros, you will end up with a lot more rounding error with tables versus the calculator. All right, and that is all for this problem. You should have gotten this number right here. I'll see you in the next video.